Welcome to the IU Natatorium, my favorite pool in the world. We are here for the Indianapolis May Cup Championships, the last competition before US Olympic trials in 30 days. Tommy got me tonight. He got the W.
If Cody didn't have all his chest hair, he would have been right now.
And he grew up watching the vlog, and he almost got us.
Circle of life.
Good race. We just wrapped the meet, a very painful 200 breaststroke, and Benson, who missed the team photo, set the meet record. Good job, Benson. All right.
Fair. I didn't hear it when you said, "Hey, come here, Benson." I totally didn't hear it.
Almost the best time. Good job, buddy. Good job. We took a breaststroke group picture after the race. All these guys I've raced for years, trained with for a long time. When I started my career at Indiana, I was lucky enough to set the Big Ten record in the 100 and 200 breaststroke, and now all of those guys who I train with, our breaststroke group is now faster than that. So it's a really special, cool thing.
You know, I started my time in Indiana in this pool. I'm ending my time in Indiana in this pool. It's pretty crazy.
It's actually me too. My first race in Indiana was in this pool.
Yeah, same.
4 races complete. I am going to break down exactly how all of them went. What went well, what went horrible. Mostly good, but this is for the nerds. We're gonna do some nerd stuff. Now, before we watch and review these races together, I wanna take a moment to talk to you about Lumen. This is what I've been using to track my metabolic state, or in other words, what I've been using to track what my body is burning up as fuel. This is obviously super important because we know that what you eat prior to exercise or after competition dictates how you feel, how you perform, and ultimately how you recover. For me, this is awesome because in the past, I've always just been guessing what I need to fuel up with. After a workout, I oftentimes think I need a ton of carbs, but what I've learned is that after a lot of my morning training sessions, I'm actually still in fat burning because I do a lot of my morning workouts fasted. I might have a little bit of caffeine, maybe a little green tea, but I stop eating dinner around 7 p.m. and I work out 5 to 8 a.m. completely functioning off of reserved fuel. I haven't eaten any food, so that's in the fat burning category. Now, on really heavy training days, when I swim in the morning and then again in the afternoon, later into the day, my metabolism shifts into carb burning. And I know exactly where I'm at and exactly how to properly fuel myself so that I load up more on carbohydrates later into the day just for sustainable energy throughout the day, throughout my training week. It's really, really cool. Lumen is the leading expert in metabolic health. Their recommendations are science-backed and all personalized based on your own measurements. Whether you're trying to lose weight or put on muscle for the gym, Lumen is the ultimate tool, the ultimate coach to help you achieve your health, fitness goals, whatever those are. To get $50 off your Lumen, click the link down below and start taking charge of your health now. Okay, first race of the competition, prelims of the 100 breaststroke. I'm in the middle of the pool in the dark cap. Below me is my buddy Tommy. My goal off the start was to try to stay close to Tommy because he weighs like 20 pounds more than me and usually kills me on the pullout. And I did a pretty good job. I was only like a couple feet behind him, which honestly was about as good as I could do. I'm gonna continue working on that. I felt like this first 50, I forced the race a little bit, and as a result, my hips are a little bit low. The tempo is okay, so I'm at about a 1.2 to 1.3 tempo, which is where I wanna be on the front half of this race. I really built into this turn right here. I hit the turn well, and then I came out of the turn. I remember this was a great underwater pullout. I won the turn. I pop out ahead of Tommy. I'm the first one up taking strokes. And my first 5 strokes were right where I needed to be. Hitting the line, hips were high, looking forward. And then this last 25, Tommy starts to surge and I kind of start to sink. And if you look at my head position, my head is barely under the surface of the water, which for me is not good. I need to press my head and my chest down a little bit lower to let the hips come up. And my hips are just really, really low. Tommy blew me away that last 25. I ended up going 102.0, which is kind of right in line with what I've gone in prelims at most of my competitions this year. I just didn't execute it quite as well as I wanted to, and honestly, I think I'm just a little bit more tired than I expected. I thought going into this meet I was gonna be faster because I thought I had enough adequate rest before this meet to have that springy, powerful, poppy feel, and it just really wasn't quite there. I just didn't feel as good as I wanted to feel. But you know, I did my best. So then finals rolls around. I am in lane 2, so I'm second from the top. Once again, a decent start. Tommy kills everyone on this pull out. Breakout's good. This was a better swim overall. I'll just tell you before the race even finishes. I dropped over half a second from my prelim swim, so it was much better. But right out of the gate, once again, I'm still kind of forcing it. Like I'm pressing too far forward. I feel like my arms, I'm trying to press the water too much, so I'm not actually holding as much water as I should. Coming out of the turn, this was once again really good. One thing I did well is nail the turn, nail the wall. My first 8 strokes off this wall are great. Right here, this is beautiful. This is the perfect rate, the perfect tempo, hips are high, and then once again, right when I get to that 25-meter mark, now I start to spin. So right here, the field is creeping up, people are starting to pass me, my hips are starting to sink, I'm not anchoring my hands low enough in the water, my outsweep isn't right where it needs to be, and ultimately, you know, it just comes down to it. It just comes down to just kind of spinning, just not holding enough water. So for me, the difference between a 1.35 stroke rate tempo and a 1.20 stroke rate tempo is massive. 1/10 of a second per stroke is massive. It completely changes the trajectory of my upper body pull and press as I lunge into the water and then allowing the hips to come up high. Once again, the takeaway from finals was it was a better swim. I think I got 4th place. It was close. Like it wasn't like the field was really far apart. Obviously I wanted to win. But just from an execution standpoint, I needed to maintain that stroke rate coming off the wall. Here, let me throw it up again. That stroke rate coming off of the wall, those first 8 strokes that I took on the second 50 were right where I needed to be. If I maintain that, I'm keeping my momentum. I probably don't sink as much, even though I fatigue towards the end of the race. Once again, just A, because I'm tired, and B, because I'm just still too tired from training and I need rest. And I'm probably half a second faster, and that puts me right in there for the touch for the win for that race. So from an execution standpoint, I know exactly what I need to do better to execute as close to perfect race as I can when I race the 100 breaststroke at trials, but my main focus is the 200 right now anyway. So the next morning, I race the 200 breaststroke. We're not gonna watch the whole race, it's way too long, and I apologize for the horrible quality. Someone texted me this video link, so the file size got compressed, but my stroke count and my rates were good. I just felt like I didn't have that pop and that power to once again maintain that high body position to ultimately go a time that would make me happy. I knew right here on the third 50, Tommy was probably a little too far ahead of me, and here we are on the 450 and he's way ahead of me. I mean, I'm a body length behind him, and I bombed this last 50, like it hurt. Right here you can tell I'm really sitting back. I'm coming high out of the water and kind of leaning back instead of leaning forward. And once again, that's just because my hips and my knees are just kind of sinking. Now, all that said, that swim, that 200 prelims was the best prelims 200 breaststroke I've had all year. Still wasn't very fast. I still thought I would be quite a bit faster, but it's still the best 200 prelim swim I've had. So I do feel good about that. And then in finals, I went a little bit faster, basically the same kind of race. We raced in finals and Tommy beat me by not quite as much, so it was a little bit closer. But there were some good takeaways from this competition. Stroke counts and stroke rates were on point. Building into the walls, those are good. Now it's just a matter of resting in the gym, resting in the pool so that my body starts to feel better, so the power starts to kick in. I know that I have the capacity to finish a race well because I put in months and months of like really good training, really good cardiovascular training, really good power. Like everything is there. It's just putting it all together. It's putting the puzzle pieces together for the great race at the end of the season. And we're almost there. We're just a few weeks away. For me now, it's all about quality. When I'm doing fast stuff, it needs to be fast. When I'm doing something mechanically, it needs to be accurate. It needs to make sure that I'm hitting my line. I need to make sure that I'm squeezing my head, I'm pressing my chest on my head, and I'm consciously thinking about lifting my hips. Because one thing that happens when I taper for breaststroke is when that power starts to set in, that snap starts to set in, I'm able to ride higher in the water and feel like I'm kind of kicking at a slightly downward angle. Like if you watched my races from the US Open last December when I went 209 in the 200 breaststroke, I was really long. My stroke counts were really low and I was really long, but I was super high on the water. Now it's a matter of staying high, but slowly increasing the stroke rate, right in that 1.4 stroke rate range for me as a 200 breaststroker, 1.4, and then finishing just under 1.4. When I go above 1.4, when I start going 1.3, 1.2, which is what I swim the 100 breaststroke at the end of a 200, I don't hold water and I spin and I go slower. So for those of you nerds, that's how I kind of break that down. But ultimately, it was a lot of fun. It was a great time racing at the Nat for my last competition there before this big meet. And yeah, overall, not as fast as I would have liked to be, but mostly good takeaways. And I feel good about it. Thank you all for joining me today. As always, make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you'd like a personalized video from me to you or someone you know for whatever reason, I am available. I can't speak. Available on Cameo. We will have new merch coming right before US Olympic trials. Head to CodyMillerSwim.com. Until my next video, I will see you all later.